Hey musos, guitarists, bass players, drummers, vocalists, and maybe even triangle players. Mike from Mill Studios here. And today I wanted to discuss a very important aspect of modern recording, DIY. I see a whole lot of you jumping into a boat of doing a DIY recording for your band lately. While it can certainly lead to great results, there are some important pitfalls in this process. If these are not avoided, your record will sound compromised at its best. Hence, I've decided to create a list of major points to consider when self-producing your record. Number 1. Do the bloody pre-production. There are various ways to do the pre-production or a demo recording. This stage is super important for you to get the initial feel of your record and see how your orchestration works. Check for guitar parts clashing with the bass, vocals delivering the desired rhythmics and melody, the drum groove flowing well with the rest of instrumentation. You can just record your rehearsal to a click or even use a Guitar Pro approach. You will easily see things to improve, change or add just by listening to this demo. Number 2. Ask for bloody advice. The nature of the human hearing is that it can easily get overwhelmed. After a few listens to your demo, you won't be objective anymore, especially considering you've been composing the song for ages. Send your pre-pro to your musician mates or producer mates and ask them for their sincere opinion. It usually takes just one listen to identify any major or minor flaws. You will thank yourself later. Number 3. Bloody prepare your materials. You may have serious budget limitations, of course, if you've decided to self-produce. However, the intonation of your instruments will be the major determinant of your sound. Hence, absolutely, get the new guitar and bass strings. Check your instruments for the intonation before recording them. Get them serviced if needed. Change the drum plastics and tune these drums for tightness as well. Number 4. Bloody borrow instead of buying. If it's a one-off recording, chances are high you will spend a lot of money on drum and vocal microphones when you don't really need to. Instead, find a mate who has those microphones and just carefully borrow them for your session. And most importantly, find a room with some decent acoustics which does not sound like garbage. Well, unless you're after super grungy sound, of course. This could be a rehearsal space, a treated garage of one of your muser mates, or an entry-level recording studio. Room acoustics are tremendously important when doing drums and vocals and would be your biggest limiting factor, rather than the gear. Number 5. Bloody humanize your programmed drums. If you have decided to go with programmed drums, there is nothing wrong with this approach. However, you should be mindful to where to put your attention to. A regular problem with the programmed drums is that they are not crafted meticulously enough and may sound repetitive. Consult with your drummer. Let him sit and help you program the main beats and the fills. And if you don't have a drummer, use some MIDI libraries played by world-renowned drummers. They sound fantastic and very natural and are quite accessible. Also, use a humanization procedure in your DAW. This adds slight random variations to your programmed hits, so they sound much more natural. Or alternatively, borrow an electronic drum set and let your drummer perform on it. This can lead to a very, very decent sounding drums on your song. Number 6. Guitar and bass tightness is bloody more important than the amp sound. Chances are high you're a fan of a particular amp sound and you are craving to record through it. Chances are also high you can't crank it up loud enough for proper amp saturation and your room is sounding boomy. This would absolutely neglect the amp character. Instead, focus on recording the direct signal from your guitars and bass and make them really bloody tight with each other. If you are after a particular amp tone, you can always reamp it elsewhere after you have recorded. Number 7. Bloody outsource. Your tracking may need some editing, reamping, drum programming, session players, etc., etc. And while you may be experienced in the particular production stages, you are likely to face some difficulties on at least one of these. In order to get the best bang for your buck, identify the stage you are struggling with and send it to a professional online. There are multiple online resources like airgigs.com, soundbetter.com, etc., which list professionals in certain niches within your budget. And, it's not even that expensive. If you're looking for cheap editing, find an engineer in Europe or elsewhere who is still building the portfolio. You're very likely to discover someone charging less than 30% of the normal service price and it's still going to be decent level and effective-wise with your time, which is very important. Number 8. Mix and master bloody quickly. Well, this is a really big one. I myself was caught in this pitfall a few years back when producing my own band. If you're not an experienced mixer and you don't perform the job really quickly, 3 sessions max, chances are high your hearing will get blurred and you won't be able to objectively work on your record anymore. 90% cases, this leads to compromised mixers. Ask yourself, are you experienced enough in this craft to compete with engineers who have been mixing professionally for decades? And again, if it is not the case, and you don't want to spend a fortune on mixing, outsource it internationally. The up-and-coming engineers would be very keen to work with you rather cheap or even just to build their portfolio. DIY recording is very fun and provides you with unique experience. If you have any particular questions on any stages of this process, just leave a comment or message me and I will make sure to provide more details with great pleasure. I wish you to make some smashing records. Cheers.